Diane Edwards and Carmen Hansen on membership. When I did my club visits and we did a little survey, by far the #1 top issue of frontline Rotarians was membership, and in particular how to attract younger members to their club. This is one of the answers. They'll be providing you with tools to put in your toolkit to help your club grow. So welcome, Diane and Carmen.
Thank you, Ina, for the introduction, and thank you all for attending this Zoom training. We're going to focus on engaging your membership, and we have 2 presenters here today, and one from Zone. Diane Edwards is Rotary District 5630 past District Governor. She's Region 36 Rotary Coordinator, Rotary Zones 25B and 29 Institute Education Coordinator. Welcome, Diane. And I am Carmen Hansen, your District 5610 Membership Chair. I'm going to turn it over to Diane, and thank you, Diane, for all your work on this.
Thank you, Carmen. It's so nice to be with my friends in South Dakota. Having lived in Nebraska for many years, South Dakota was one of my favorite places to visit, and had lots of opportunities to meet many of you at some of your functions in your district, at your PETS and your district conference. So it's my pleasure to be here today in a virtual environment where we're going to discover some ideas and hopefully give you some tips about how we can still continue to engage our membership in the challenging times that we now are experiencing. Many of you may have, and it sounds like since you have been doing Zoom meetings over the last few weeks, may be familiar with some of these things I'm going to review with you. But quickly, I think it's always a good idea for us to take inventory of the tools that we have with this platform and how we can make the most of our experience virtually. First of all, I would ask that you go to your tile, which is the little square that has your picture or your name or whatever it is you've logged on with, and rename yourself so we know who you are. You may have already done this, but when you go to your tile, there are 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner that you can click on, and it'll give you a drop-down opportunity to rename yourself. And then you can click on that and enter your full name, first and last name, and your club name. That would be helpful to us because that is essentially serving as a table tent that we would have if we were in a face-to-face meeting. We also ask that you keep your sound on mute at the lower bottom of your screen, lower left side. Getting a feedback from someone. Okay, the lower left side where you have several options that'll be on a bar at the bottom, you can see an opportunity to mute yourself. Please do so unless you are asked or called upon to speak or you have a comment and you're recognized. This will really help us to not have any background noise to compete with as we move along. Also ask you to set your video on gallery view. Those options are in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and by doing gallery view, you can actually have the opportunity to see everyone that is participating in the meeting. If you don't know this, especially when there is a PowerPoint up, you have the opportunity, there's a vertical line that runs up and down and that kind of to the right side of where the PowerPoint is. You can move your screen back and forth to the right and left to increase your gallery view and decrease your PowerPoint view, or vice versa. So that's an option you may want to play with if you are wanting to see a closer view of others that are on the call. There is another feature that we'll ask you to participate in some during this session that we're going to hold this morning, and that is using the chat box. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see that you have the opportunity to do a chat. We want you to click on that and open your chat box because that's where we'll ask for you to enter your comments and also enter any questions that you may not have an opportunity to ask while their presentation is going on. That way we won't lose that thought, so to speak. We're also going to ask you to look at your participant pane. At the bottom bar, that black bar at the bottom of your screen, there is a participant icon, and right now it shows that there are 27 of us on this internet call, now 28. When you click on the participant pane and open it up, you'll see everyone's that's on the call is listed there. At the bottom of that pane, there are also what we call some reaction icons. There's a yes box with a green check, an X for no, and the red circle. And then as you move ahead, there are other options where you can raise your hand, you can thumbs up or thumbs down. There are also reaction buttons at the bottom of your screen in the that will just give you an opportunity to applaud someone or to give a thumbs up in a quick response. So those are some of the tools that we want you to be familiar with, and we will ask you or guide you to use them as we move along during this session. The next thing that we're going to do is take a quick look at a really I think very interesting video that I discovered in working with some of my compadres at to the west in zones 26 and 27. This district put together this video called Breaking Bad, and it's really, really cool. So I want to stop my share here because I want to make sure that I have the sound, and I do, engage, so you will be able to hear the audio as well as view this video. So here we go with District 5180's video called Breaking Bad.
Project last Saturday. How did you like that?
Oh, I loved it. It's
Not seeing the video. Okay, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop this and see what the problem is.
We could hear it, but
You can hear it. You could not see it. Okay, well, we'll just start over again then. Okay, here we go. Now tell me if you see it now. Do you see it, Carmen? No. Okay, little troubleshooting here. We're going to go back to.
I wonder if you need to share your screen in order for us to see the video.
Yeah, I think I thought I had, but well, that may be an error on my part that I didn't. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to go here and see if that does it. Nope. That didn't do it. When I was experimenting with this earlier, can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the PowerPoint and see if it'll work this way. Now can you see it? Are you seeing it now? No.
Project last Saturday. How did you like that?
Oh, I loved it.
Okay.
Diane, I think you need to share your screen again, and then it probably popped up in a separate window.
Yeah. Isn't this fun? Hold on. We're going to try it one more time. I'm sharing my screen. I'm going to the PowerPoint. Can you see the PowerPoint? A yes or no from someone?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to the link. You see a black screen?
Project last Saturday. How did you like that?
Oh, I loved it. It's
Diane?
Okay, I'm going to go to pause. Yes. Are you seeing the screen?
We see your PowerPoint, Diane. When you click on that, is it not opening another window?
It's not.
It's not, okay.
Try control click.
Control what?
use your control button and then
Okay.
click open.
Okay, well, let's try that then. So you're seeing the PowerPoint, but you're not seeing. Okay, we're going back to share. Sharing the screen. That's the wrong screen. Okay, do you see the screen, my PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're going to go back to the beginning. So I'm going to do control click. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Not the video.
Not the video. Okay, we're going to move on.
Well, Diane, I'm sure it's a different window that's popped up that you're not seeing.
It may be that's the case. That's the case.
And Diane,
Yes.
I would say two things. One, share your full screen, not a window, and then don't launch PowerPoint from the PowerPoint viewer point of view. Just click on it from within the regular editing mode.
Okay.
It looks like you're in PowerPoint display. I think that's taking over the screen.
It is, and this has been a problem. I thought I had resolved it because I practiced with it, but I was practicing with myself and I didn't know no one else could see it. I was solving the problem of losing control of my screen, which is an issue with a single screen monitor that I have. But what we're going to do, I'm not going to delay any further. I want to tell you a little bit about this video, and I'll share the link to it for you because I do think that it's a very insightful message that it delivers to us, that we're not always attractive or a welcoming place to our guests, or for that matter, in some cases, to our newer members. We don't really, we get into a comfort zone in our own little club where we're not really welcoming and providing a kind of environment that makes it warm and engaging for them. And that's the essence of this video. It's really kind of a neat illustration of all the bad behaviors that can occur during a situation like that. So now, pardon?
Diane, if you'd allow me to share my screen, I think I could play you the video.
Okay, well, we can do that. I'm gonna stop sharing then, and I will move it to you, Chuck, if you want to try it. I think you can grab the screen. You want to try it?
John.
I'm sorry, John.
Okay, it says it's disabled. I can't share.
Okay. Not allowing you to share, huh? Okay, let's move on then. I'm going to go back to, let's go back to, I've got lots of chats here, and we'll look at those because chats are captured, and we'll be able to go on to, okay, I'm going back to the PowerPoint. PowerPoint there for everyone. Some of the bad behaviors that we had seen there, we were going to ask you to tell us about. And right now, though, we're going to move into what we call our breakout rooms. Our group of 29 people will be moved into 4 different breakout rooms where you'll have a facilitator that will be there. When you go to the breakout room electronically, we'll ask you to unmute yourself so that you can participate in the discussion. There'll be a series of questions that your facilitator will lead you in for discussion purposes. We ask that someone in the group volunteer to be the recorder of your comments so that when you are returned to the main room after discussions are completed, we will be able to share with one another some of the things that came out in your particular discussion group. There are a couple of questions that everyone will answer, but then each discussion group in the breakout rooms will have some other questions that will be unique to your room. So please try to get through all of the questions. You'll be in there about 20 minutes and you'll be returned automatically by us after that time frame, and then we'll have our discussion concerning moving ahead. So now I'm going to send you away. I'm going to create 4 breakout rooms. And we're going to have about 7 participants in each room. And right now I'm going to make sure that I have the right people as facilitators in each of these rooms. John Snyder, you'll have room 1. Shelley, I'm going to put you in room 2. I'm moving you along to room 2. Then I have in room 3, I'm sorry, Shelley, you're in room 3. Chuck, you're going to be in room 2. And John Snyder, you're in room 1. And Chuck Lubers, you're in room 4. So now I'm going to move you along. We're going to open all the rooms. You'll be in there for 20 minutes. And you'll get a countdown of 30 seconds before I close out the rooms. You'll get a little screen that'll tell you you have 30 seconds before you're going to be moved automatically. So you can return to the main room at any time you want to. We discourage you to do that because sometimes you can accidentally take yourself out of the Zoom session. If you'll just sit tight and everybody come back at the same time, then we'll have everyone in the discussion. So here we go. We're going to opening the rooms. It'll take a minute for you to get there, and I'll come pop in and make sure everybody's doing okay. I see, Ed, you haven't moved out yet. Are you, there we go. And Shelley, you're still moving out. I had you assigned to breakout room 3, I believe. I can't hear you, you're on mute. Unassigned, okay, I'm going to assign you to room 3. And in Mobridge, Peg and Mobridge, I'm going to assign you to room 4.
Okay, I don't know how to get to room 4.
It's got to go on your own. I just sent you. You should go now. Here we go.
Okay.
And Thomas, I'm going to send you to room 3. No, room 1. I'll send you to room 1. Okay, here we go. Tom, did you get to go, or are you still with me? Thomas, are you on the telephone? Hey, Bruce.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. I've sent everybody to a breakout room. I'm going to send you one since I missed you. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Okay.
And they're already in discussions, but just go ahead and when opportunity, you can let them know that you're there.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thomas, are you still with me? We must have a very weak broadband connection or something going on there. Here they come.
Oh, Diane, we almost.
Diane, we didn't get a warning.
I sent a broadcast to everyone. You didn't get it?
I didn't see it.
On the top of the
I
screen.
don't think that was 20 minutes.
Well, it was automatically counting down 20. Might have been your transport time too. And so that's okay. We'll continue with the discussions in a bigger group if you still had things that you wanted to share. Not a problem.
That's fine. If people from my group come back in, honestly, I see a warning that we were coming back. So
sorry about that. I did send a 3-minute warning and a 1-minute warning, and if it didn't pop up on your screen, I really don't understand all the mechanics of Zoom, obviously, as I fumbled so with the video, you can tell.
It did pop up. It did pop up.
Some of you, it may not have been real obvious to the screens, but anyway, welcome back, everyone. I'm glad that everyone, did you enjoy that experience?
Sure.
Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on your reaction screen or in person. That's good too. Hey, Dan knows how that little screen works. Okay, excellent. Okay, well, we're going to go back to the discussion a little bit. So we're going to go back to, I hope I don't have a problem with returning to the PowerPoint. We're going to see if we do. Can you see the PowerPoint? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Now we're moving ahead electronically. I love this electronic world. Okay. Here are some of the questions that were given to breakout rooms 1 and 4. And so those 2 rooms, I'm sure you had someone who was doing notes, but would be interested in hearing a report out from one of you concerning some of these questions, and then we'll entertain some discussion among the rest of the group about anything they might want to add, or if you have a comment you'd like to share, you can put it in the chat pane as well. That's a good way for you to share your comments. So breakout room 1, did you have a recorder?
I'm not sure which room I was in, but I was the recorder in either 1 or 4.
Okay, well then go for it.
So in terms of the value proposition, no one was really clear that they had developed one. So we spent quite a bit of time talking about what it is. And especially with the new Rotary theme for this coming year, that Rotary creates opportunities, really being clear about what kind of opportunities your club is creating for members. In terms of the second question, sorry, I can't see the second question.
Okay.
There you go. Yep.
All right. Do you involve all club members? There you go.
Yeah. So Rapid City talked about how they are really trying to develop a club within a club, try to engage their different folks with different interests. So particularly folks who are more interested in kind of the social aspect and potentially writing a check, versus people who are more engaged in the hands-on social or hands-on service opportunities, and really trying to get those folks separately meeting, but then working coordinatedly to create, again, opportunities for folks to be involved in their community. At our club in Pier, we did a big process where we engaged the club in trying to determine what our next big service project was, because we found that we tended to be pretty reactive to people coming to board meetings and presenting things, rather than proactive and really trying to get the club engaged. So about 1.5 years ago, we went through a lengthy process to survey people and have presentations of different community things that were needed. And we ended up with one project that now everybody is in some way or another kind of participating in. And then one of the folks on the call mentioned just about really the importance of the president delegating, or kind of the leadership delegating to other members, rather than trying to do everything themselves. so that we can develop opportunities for people to be engaged and then hopefully stay engaged. And then the only other thing I would say, conducting a member assessment. There were a couple of clubs that had done kind of a member health assessment, and that was really interesting for those of us who haven't, to think about. And then why are we in Rotary? Really a combination of the fellowship and the opportunities for networking and engagement in the community. And we didn't really get to the last question.
Okay, and the last question there, I think will be pitched out by some other groups as well. The other breakout room that covered these topics, would there be some additional comments that you'd like to make?
There aren't really any additional. We didn't get much past the very first, you know, the value proposition, and then we sort of slid into membership and versus the recruiting new members. But one of the concerns we have here in Mobridge was we met for the first time yesterday, and we only had, I think, 11 members show up out of 27.
Was this a virtual meeting or a face-to-face?
Oh, this was yeah.
Oh.
We were out at our regular meeting site, and he spread us out, and there were 2 tables, 2 people to this table and 2 people over there, and we almost had to yell at each other. I think my big concern is, and I'm concerned all year long about membership, and I think that the publicity Mobridge Tribune gives us by carrying the weekly news has helped our membership a lot, because it's not the sort of thing that we don't have a billboard or anything, you know. So we've gotten members because they've read about what we're doing, and they are those kind of people you want as members because they're doers. And we've had people walk in and say, I want to join, which I just find phenomenal. You know, we didn't even recruit them. They just showed up because they're the kind of people that like to be involved in what's going on. We talked about that. I have a great concern about us retaining the members that we had before this whole epidemic started, because we have 27 members and we usually get about 20 to 22 of them to our Monday meetings. And so you see, we got half. Now, yeah. I feel that we have to concentrate on retaining our base. That's our big thing.
Your message is very appropriate. It was just last week that our president, Mark Maloney, called the Rotary coordinators together to express his concerns about the impact this is going to have, what this pandemic is going to have on our Rotary viability, and how we're going to be challenged to engage our members and to keep the ones we've got. It's really a concern. It truly is. And so everything that you can think of, any kind of ideas that you can think about engaging and keeping people involved somehow, whether it's through a service project or whatever it might be, we welcome your suggestions.
Diane?
Yes.
In breakout room 4, Keith from Yankton also expressed what I thought was a very interesting point, because whenever you ask about what the value proposition of Rotary is, everybody always throws out service right away. Mm-hmm. And Keith, if you're on and are willing, I'd like you to talk a little bit about your concern about the value proposition and maybe what some clubs are missing.
Thank you. It's amazing how a Rotary has evolved over the last 30 years or 40 years. And it's that the reason why we are Rotarians is because of the fact that it is a business relationship that has the movers and shakers in the community getting together, not only to, in fact, enhance their businesses, but also to the point where they can then have a common cause to do those projects. And so if anybody is anybody, should be a Rotarian, because that's where the movers and shakers of the community are. And somehow the movers and shakers don't feel that affinity for us, for the Rotarian. Or I don't think it was like it used to be, because in San Francisco or Chicago, those people who wanted to be in the community are Rotarians. But around our towns, many of them don't know what it is, and frankly, they don't see any value to it. And And again, it is a service organization, but it is not perfectly altruistic. It is self-service as well. We have to, in fact, make a living, make the world a better place, but we have to be successful in order to be able to do that. And so we should try to take that theme a little bit further, because that's what Paul Harris had in mind when he started the club way back when.
Okay.
I thought it was important to introduce that because I think sometimes we forget about that part of the value proposition.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, let's move on to breakout room 2. We didn't have a breakout room 5, so room 2, I don't know who was your spokesperson, but you had some different questions. We did ask everyone why they were in their Rotary Club and is it relevant to their community, but let's ask that question about diversity and flexibility in your group.
That was Nicole.
Okay.
Diversity, I don't know that we had a whole lot on diversity for our room, but adjustability, many of the clubs have jumped on Zoom. One, for instance, maybe seeing more members on Zoom than they were in person. Some things that were interesting is when it comes to, one has created a new community action committee, and they have what they call quick projects. So they're very quick projects, they're in and out, whether it's distributing socks in the community or pencils, just some that are very simple. And I kind of relate that to even our club. Our club does a service project each month, schedules a service type of project each month throughout the year.
I like that because, you know, while we may not be able to be together in face-to-face meetings, or they may be very challenging because of the limitations on social distancing, we can still, as Rotarians, continue to be involved in service. And I love that idea about quick projects, because that keeps that Rotary presence there. And that's another form of engagement. Absolutely. Okay. Any other comments from breakout room 2 that you'd like to share? Okay, room 3. Let's talk a little bit about what your discussion was. Did you focus on any of these questions particularly? Were you talking about communication or orientation? Were those some of the issues you discussed?
Yeah, we answered 3 or 4 of those questions. I think, Shelley, we are group 3.
Yes.
A quick summary of why we're in the club: networking and the knowledge gained by a wide array of speakers, oftentimes ahead of the news cycle even. So that's why people tend to join. The retaining or staying in the club sort of creates a sort of a collection of concentric circles where we join the club as sort of at the heart, and then we kind of move out toward the district and then begin to discover more about international and the passion for the good that is happening in that way. So it appears that a step toward retention is moving out through those circles, helping people get more connected to the broader perspective. I joined long enough ago to know that eradicating polio was kind of a new project at that time, and that certainly grabbed a lot of people's hearts, and it's amazing how it's carried that forward in that way. So that was our, also one person mentioned an interesting concept that he joined the club to get to know people he wouldn't otherwise get to know, sort of get into a new social circle and to build social capital in a new part of the environment, which is a really good experience of the cross-fertilization that comes from that, knowing in that particular way. We had an interesting conversation about communication. You know, sort of there were mixed generations within our small group. Some like email, some despise email, some want text, some don't know how to use either one of those. So face-to-face is great. We've learned, a lot of us have learned a lot about using Zoom and other techniques during this pandemic, but it's a challenge to know how to do it. A number of clubs talked about having a weekly communication. One club calls it, Sioux City calls it the weekly punch. in which they summarize what's happened in the past meeting, promote what's coming in the future meeting, celebrate birthdays and that sort of thing. Other clubs are doing similar things to that. So it seems like the bottom line of communication is use every method you can think of and get as many exposures of the communication message as you possibly can, which is kind of standard marketing communication technique.
Great summary there, Charles. You know, with regard to the various forms of communication, I think this is one of the outcomes of the pandemic and the challenges that we've been facing, is that many of us have been forced into an environment we would never have embarked on voluntarily. And so we're doing the best we can in trying to move into this new world, but it's changed us all, because now we see possibilities, especially when we're challenged geographically with the connection of clubs and getting together. This may be a solution that we hang on to at least parts of in future months and years ahead. I know Rotary is looking at that from an international standpoint, certainly. Okay, well, thank you very much for your discussion in the breakout rooms, everyone. It sounds like everyone was engaged and did a really good job of focusing on some of the key questions that make us think about why we're engaged, why we're in Rotary, and why we want to continue to be so. So now we're going to move into our next, if I can get we're going to bring our back on. We're going to bring Carmen back on here to talk to us a little bit about some of the things you touched on in the breakout room. Carmen, you want to take it from here?
Yes, this has been great conversation and great for me to hear your comments on what everyone is doing, especially during these challenging times. And some of the questions that we duplicated, I think are very important for us as an individual to think about. Why are you in Rotary and why do you stay? Because that goes to your value in your club, why your club does have value. And no one is going to want to join something or be a part of something if they don't get value in return. So that is very important. And especially during these times, things are changing. So when we talk about meeting frequency, format, and attendance, that's all been thrown out the window per se. Everybody's trying to make changes. And the important thing is within your club to look and see who's participating and who isn't. And it isn't just meetings. So when we say flexibility and meeting frequency, whatever, that also includes your socials. That also includes your service. So some clubs might not be meeting on Zoom right now or meeting at all, but they are getting together following the COVID guidelines, and they're doing service. So whatever you can do to engage your members, even if it's a phone call from a fellow member to another member, haven't heard from you, how's it going? What can we do to keep you connected with us? Because I think we all are missing a lot of social. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is the dual membership for Rotaractors. Now, internationally, or within Rotary, that is changing significantly. Rotary International is moving to connect Rotary and Rotaract better. And for those of you who don't know what Rotaract is, it's for 18 to 30-year-olds to give them a different format, a little bit more flexibility, and at a reduced cost. So Rotaractors traditionally are not Rotary members in that they are not a part of the communication within RI. They don't get the newsletters, they don't get any information, they can't access any of that through RI. Well, that is changing. So beginning July 1, first of all, a Rotaract club used to have to be supported by an existing club. And now they can start on their own. They can be supported by another Rotaract club, or they can still have a traditional club sponsor them. And they've also removed, starting July 1st, they removed the 30-year age limit on that. It's still designed for a younger population, but they do not have to be under 30 or under 31. And then the last one is, which I think is important for Rotary clubs to think about, beginning July 2022, the membership fee for Rotaractors to be in Rotary will be $5 per person if it is a university-based and $8 for community-based members. So we all know that we all pay dues both to your club, your district, and RI. While the RI and the district dues are pretty much set, your club dues is where your flexibility comes in recruiting new members. So if you would have different membership types, if you would have a junior membership type, or whatever you, as your club, you can set up whatever you want. Just make sure that it's in your bylaws. And I'd be more than happy to help with those so that you can do it following your club laws. But something to think about for these young people, they can be a Rotaractor, but they can also be part of RI for that reduced cost. The district dues is still due, and your club dues, and you have the flexibility there. So keep all those things in mind. What I'm finding, to me, with the Zoom meetings, while it's uncomfortable at first, I think it also sets a level playing field when you're with 20 people and you can see everybody, you can, and it puts, everybody has a voice. And so embrace these changes. And if you have other things that your club is doing to communicate, please let me know so that I can share with other clubs.
Okay, Carmen, I'm going to launch a little poll here, just a quick poll for everybody to return and become engaged with us. This poll is going to ask you the question, how to improve your club experience. So please answer. You can check off more than one choice. I'm launching the poll. Carmen, can you see the poll?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm checking everything now.
Oh, we'll get that video squared away.
We're getting good responses. All right. Excellent. 14, 15 of 27, 16 are coming up here. This is very good. Closing the poll in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Closing the poll. We had 24 response, and here is the result. Overwhelmingly, and 19 of the 24 respondents really liked the focus on service projects. More fellowship, which we miss, of course, and of course we always like speakers and leadership opportunities. So now I'm going to close that poll, stop sharing the results, and moving away to the next slide, we will advance to return to Carmen.
All right. In our breakout group, we talked a little bit about club diversity, and the one thing that came up was in some of these smaller communities, we might not have ethnic diversity as much, but you can also think about the different businesses in your community. Have they been asked to your club? A gender balance, I think that is starting to become more balanced over the years. I know my personal club is pretty close to 50-50. Age, and that is the big one, is getting younger professionals, alumni, Rotaractors, and those recently retired. Especially in today's world, they're even more isolated than they were before, and Rotary might provide an avenue for them. Rotary tells us, RI tells us that the most effective and vibrant clubs tend to reflect the demographics of their community. Increasing the number of women, young professionals, and members of various ethnic groups should be every club's goal. Rotary clubs that bring together diverse perspectives address the needs of their communities more creatively. Diverse clubs also have greater credibility in their community, a wider range of skills, increased volunteer opportunities, and expanded leadership prospects. So take a look, let's see. I'm gonna just touch on this briefly, but on the RI website under membership, there are specific tools to help you evaluate your club, whether it's on diversity or membership or assessment. There are so many resources there, and we're gonna go into this on the next slide. But if your club demographic mirrors that of your community in regards to gender, ethnicity, age, and profession, then that helps your club grow. So I touched on this briefly, but there are so many polls out there that you can use, or surveys within your club, health check. But the important thing is to engage your members in their view, ask them their opinion, reach out to them. Is there a way that you in your club can survey your members to find out what is most important to them? Do you know what is important to your club members? Interviewing them, especially those leaving. There is an exit survey that you can also use, or just call up and ask, and this can yield useful information to aid your retention efforts. Sometimes a personal conversation between the exiting member and a member he or she trusts can bring out additional information that is beneficial to your club planning. The membership satisfaction questionnaire on the RI website is designed to identify what club members like most about your club. What is the value that they want or they hear from you? There's a message here I've got to look at, but go ahead, Diane, and let's go to the next slide. I hear to everyone, it is one thing to talk about diversity and feel good about ourselves. It is quite another to take action. Perhaps each club in 5610 and the district as a whole should create action plans on how to actually approach this issue of being more inclusive for young and older ethnicity and gender. And that is a perfect message because we're moving to this slide. So you've heard lots of things today or this morning. Some of the things maybe have triggered something in your head about your own club. The one thing that I want you to take away is a goal without a plan is just a wish. So what is your club goal? Do you have an action plan? After you determine the current state of your club, your next step is to discuss and formulate a vision. Has your club ever created a vision? If yes, is it still relevant now with the way we are in current times? Creating a vision makes deciding what you want your club to be like in 3 to 5 years. Taking that time can make your club stronger, active, and attract new members. Involving club members in this process gives them the sense of ownership and commitment. And understanding the club's goals in the future gets everybody working together on the same page. So I'm going to turn it over to Diane to talk about the 12-point plan for member engagement.
Okay, thank you, Carmen. Good thoughts to take back with us today. These are the 12 point plan that is a part of our Rotary Leadership Institute training and membership. And this slide will be included in the materials that will be recorded and can be shared with you later. So we won't go through these individually right now. But these are some really good tips for us to keep in mind as we work on our member engagement challenges ahead. We want to make sure that we make our members feel welcome and we get them engaged by getting them involved. I think that is the really bottom line on that. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to move to one more poll. I would like for you to answer this question about, in today's COVID-19 times, how is your club remaining engaged? And so we're going to go to poll number 2, and I'm going to launch this poll and ask you to make a comment and let us know which of these answers fits your particular situation in your club. We got one person that's gone dark, is talking about their club. Online meetings are occurring a lot of service. Okay. We have 21 out of 27 responding. I think that's pretty good. Closing the poll in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the poll. And let's share the results. The majority are still meeting in online meetings in some form. I think that's excellent. 19 out of the 27 that responded are on this call with me. That's excellent. Just good to know. Okay, well, I'm going to stop sharing those results. Only one person has gone dark, and we're going to get more information from Carmen about that as we move ahead. Now what I'd like to share with you is some of the resources Carmen referred to, and I wanted to point out to everyone, this one website at the top of this slide will take you to everything. I'm not going to take the time to click on it because then it would take our system into the internet world, put us on My Rotary and open this page so you could see it. But I invite you to do that when you have an opportunity. This one location will give you links to all of these tools and more. I also want to point out to you that the Learning Center is really working hard on trying to improve and expand their membership resource coursework. It's a great way to perhaps bring your new members on board with orientation and take them through the paces of understanding a little bit more about our membership picture altogether. Those are really important resources. I invite you to explore them. Certainly while we are sitting at home and we have lots of opportunities to go onto the internet, this is a good exercise of your time, I think. You can look at the course catalog for the Learning Center at the link that's shown on this slide. And there are other courses that may be helpful to you if you happen to hold a club office. There are club learning packages now for presidents, secretaries, treasurers, and different chairs of committees in the various service avenues of service. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware that that resource is available to you. As always, I'm available to you, as well as Carmen and Rod Cry, who is on our call today. Rod is your assistant Rotary coordinator that's assigned to South Dakota, Kansas, and Nebraska districts. And Rod serves as kind of an interim person who can is in the field and located close to you. If you need Rod, be sure and reach out to him. So I'm going to move now to Carmen and for a wrap up.
I'm going to go back to what I had said earlier. What is one thing you heard this morning that you can do? One thing. It's very simple. You don't have to start with a whole list. Just one thing that you are going to write down and take back to your club. Remember, we are people of action, and we want you to, hopefully you have gained something from this that you can, that most of you already know all about this. So just hopefully this will motivate you to just take it back to your club and share. And there are so many Rotarians at our district level who are willing to help you with your resources. Don't be afraid to reach out to them. From the AGs to your district governor, to Nicole, everyone, and myself included, as your district membership chair, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help connect with your club and provide any resources that I possibly can. And then I just want to close with thanking Diane for helping out and coordinating this, this Zoom meeting. We'll be sending you the link to the video, which is kind of it's a very short video, but it's also kind of a retrospect of your meetings. Is there something that you're inadvertently doing that when new members come, they don't quite feel comfortable? So that's what the whole scenario of that meeting was. And I want to thank the we had four facilitators who are all district members. We had Shelley Masick from Sioux Falls North. She's the AG. Chuck Lubers, Chuck Lindeman. Let's see, who was the fourth one? I don't have my notes in front of me.
John Snyder.
John Snyder is our district governor nominee from Lamar. So you've got a lot of support here at the district who's more than willing to help. Facilitators, anything else that you want to add?
I want to thank everyone for your attention, and thank you, Carmen. You do a great job in your District 5610. Here's Carmen's contact information, which you may already have. We welcome you to reach out to any of us if you need to. Okay, I think that's a wrap. I'm going to end the meeting for all, save the meeting to the recording to the cloud, and I think it will be converted to a YouTube video at your district website soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you, Diane and Carmen. Excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane, for doing this work.
You're very welcome. Ending the meeting for all.